One, go for it. Hello. This is Geeks Assembled, and this is Audioheads, and we are talking about Sapphire and Steel again with a time story. This is called Dead Man Walking, and it's apparently written by Nigel Fares from an Angel Ellsworth story or something. John Ellsworth. Anyway, cool. It's of course starring the guy who plays Sapphire Steel and the girl who plays
Hold on, David Warner.
And the girl who plays Sapphire.
Susanna Harker.
Yeah, those guys. And it also
David Collins, Silver.
Yeah, in Silver. And then there's a couple other actors in it. And so because it's really sort of in and out of time is broken and stuff, which it's really enjoyable. So here's Lee and Texas Tim to discuss it with me, and I just want to know what they thought of this story. Is it as good as the other timey stories that we've done? Daisy Chain, etc. What do you think, Texas?
I thought it was good. I think it suffers for being a little bit too much like the last one we did, in the sense that basically it's the same kind of thing where time is doing the same kind of thing, and they have to fix it by changing the outcome of a certain event. In other words, they have to make sure a different person gets killed rather than the person that was killed, and that corrects the situation. So it's good, but it was just kind of more of the same.
And Lee, what did you think? Are you happy with it compared to the other ones?
Yeah. I agree. When I re-listened to it this week, it did come to me, the outcome of this drama. It was a very similar conclusion to The Lighthouse, where they had to change someone's death. Somebody else had to die instead of the person who actually died. But apart from saying that, it doesn't take away from it's well acted, well written. As you said in the intro, it's based on a story by John Ainsworth. But as John Ainsworth says in the little booklet, he gave it to Nigel Fares, and Nigel Fares made it his own. So yeah, as I say, the cast, you can't fault the cast, and the story is an intriguing story. Sort of the last hanging in England, but it's not actually the last hanging. A prison setting, and of course you have the time thing. Time. What was it? Time taking hold and controlling the situation, I suppose. Yeah, I enjoyed it. So I can't grumble about it. It's only an hour long. It's only 2 parts, so
Right.
They didn't stretch it out.
Right.
From beginning to end, it fitted well into a 2-part.
So it's kind of like this one was, part 2 of the time stories. The 2 time stories, The Lighthouse and Dead Man Walking, were kind of in some ways it kind of anyway. Because they reference the lighthouse in the story, talking about time being broken and stuff, and then they also reference the other prisons in Britain, including the one that the Brigadier and Doctor Who ended up going into. So that was that was kind of fun, and so I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the brokenness of time, and the kid that was I was like, what the hell, are they going to kill this kid again? and that was, I mean, you know, that got my heart racing a little bit. So, and you know, because I love kids, man, just love kids to death. Don't want them to die. Love kids to my death. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm enjoying these a lot, and I just really want to know if any of you guys have your favorite moments, because I mean that moment where they were going to kill the kid again, I was just like, no, no. And that was, I guess, in terms of drama, that would be it for
I
me.
think that's why I felt that this one was less than the previous ones we've had so far, because it seemed like they were just trying to go for a shock. Like, oh my God, are they going to kill a child? You know, and nobody wants to hear that. And I think that that's why again, it's not like Lee pointed out, it's not bad at all. It's actually a good story, but I think it's just a little too similar to the one we just did. So it's just kind of like, okay, it's kind of the same thing over again. And it's like, and while it's great to have Silver there too, I mean, it's always good to have him along for the ride. And I like how he just kind of shows up. They don't know he's coming. They never know he's coming. And I love how he flirts with Sapphire all the time. Oh, your hair looks lovely.
Yeah.
but that's all. That's the fun of it. I mean, because I think that's what makes it stand out in any way, is that the Silver's part of it for once. And once again, that kind of sidelines Steel for a little bit of the story. He ends up being almost hung or whatever. But I'm not saying it's a bad story. I'm just saying it's. I think it was good. I thought it was very well acted too. But I just think that it's a little bit too similar, and it might maybe have been better to hold this one till later or something. So because it's just, to me, it seems like it was very similar to the previous one we did, and I think that it seems like they're just throwing in stuff for shock value at this point, like the idea of murdering a child, which happens all the time though, and so they are being realistic. That's another thing. I'm surprised that they didn't put warnings on these as well, because these aren't like Doctor Who, but most people associate that show with Doctor Who, and Doctor Who could never get away with the stuff this audio drama gets away with. So that's cool. It's a good thing.
Yeah. And Lee, favorite?
Yeah, I agree with what Tim said there. I mean, you get the Torchwood audios now, what come with warnings at the beginning, adult material, but this is going back quite a few years now, so if they were releasing them now, the most probably would have put the adult material warnings at the beginning. Yeah, I enjoy it. It's favourite bits. I mean, this one, as it's been said, Steel gets separated this time and sent into town, back in town. It's usually Sapphire who get separated from Steel. So they have turned the tables there, and he sort of took the place of the prisoner. It's good to have David Collins back as Silver. Yeah, I just love the way he flirts with Sapphire. Also, as well, you've got what's the actor's name now? Officer Crabtree from Hello, Hello. Arthur Bostrom. Yeah, who played the prison governor. I mean, his role in this was, he played it so gentle. He wasn't. He was just there. He was just talking to Sapphire or talking to Steel or wherever, but he didn't really have much to do in the story. It was he was just there helping them. Oh, can we look at your files on so and so? Which I don't mind that. I mean,
what did the music have to do with it? It was strange, right? That there was a strange music playing all the time, and it sounded like it was on a transistor radio or something. And every time he would be in the scene, you hear this music, but then other times you wouldn't. It was like, I forget, did they explain that, or was there a reason for that, or?
I mean, you had the nursery rhyme, didn't you? Ding dong, pussy's in the well.
No, I'm talking about this music that was playing in the office at times. It was literally playing in the. It wasn't incidental background music for the story. It was music that was obviously being played on something.
On the radio.
Yeah, on the radio, probably.
Yeah, well, right. This is the conclusion to the story. The little kid who they saved in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Grew up to be a famous, I can't remember if it was conductor or cello player.
Cellist.
Oh, okay.
And it was on the radio.
Okay.
If you're right to the end of the disc, there's a piece of just music, cello music, right at the end, which is quite brilliantly. I don't know if it's the music was done by, who was it done by? I don't know now. I'm looking. The music.
Well, the reason it stood out was because it definitely sounded like it wasn't part of the regular incidental type music. It sounded like it was literally being played into the room by some device. So it sounded tinny, kind of like a transistor radio.
It was Spudley on the radio because the radio announcer at the end of it, when Alf Bostrom was, because he was the last person in the story.
I guess that makes it a little more brilliant than I thought it was, because that actually is kind of clever how they that's a clue that's there at the beginning.
Yeah, all the way through. Yeah.
The only reason it stuck out in my head was because it didn't sound like incidental music for an audio drama. It sounded like something in the room itself,
Yeah.
And I wondered from the beginning, why is this music playing? Because it didn't really fit the story or the conversation that they were having. And then, sure enough, like you said, it ends up being part of the mystery.
Because the name, the celloist on the radio, and it was the name of the young boy. Yeah, I like it. I do agree though. It's a similar feeling to the last one, to the last story we did, like The Lighthouse, but it's written by the same person, Nigel Pearce. So he must have got in the flow of things and just went with it. You can't blame him, but I enjoyed it. Yeah. The cat, even the supporting cast was brilliant. Trevor Littledale as Michael Kent, as the prisoner, and brilliantly played.
Yeah. I liked the. Did you finish Texas? Would you like to do your favorite moments?
No, I already did. I was asking him because it just dawned on me while he was talking. That's why I brought it up. So
okay.
But I've always said about Sapphire and Steel as well. Before we move on, it's always children for Sapphire and Steel most of the time, and it's always nursery rhymes. And again, you've got the nursery rhyme in this one as well. So
I didn't know that was a nursery rhyme. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Pussy's in the Well. Yeah.
Didn't know that. But I don't know, the whole pantheon of children's stuff.
Yeah. I don't really know the background of that nursery rhyme. I'll have to look it up.
The funny thing is that these are actual nursery rhymes because they're very horrific for the most part, like the one we talked about last time.
Nursery rhymes are.
Yeah, it's ironic when you think about it, because when you think of it as a kid, you think, oh, these are rhymes parents tell their kids because they're cute and funny or whatever. But the truth, they're pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing's about the plague. So.
Yeah, and this one, the sound of the noose, those nooses were incredibly, like you could hear the ropes tightening and stuff, and that's really eerie because, so you may have heard that on like a pirate movie or another kind of movie, a Western or whatever. But this one, it's like, it's the sound of the ropes, and then this, like, it's punctuated at the end. Anyway, that was really, really crazy. And the last hanging, I don't know who, I didn't research this, but I don't know who the very last person hung in the UK was. But I don't think it was this. I think that this was just the time broken thing. And so I enjoyed that moment of the hanging when Steel was like inside the body of the prisoner who was going to be killed, Kent or whatever, and then you could hear the ropes tightening and stuff, and then Silver and Sapphire are like, trying to break through, trying to get in there, trying to knock down that time wall or whatever. And that was really interesting. So yeah, those were good moments for me. And and then the fact that the kid became a cellist, redemption, awesome redemption. This person was really super important. Anyway, good stuff. Let's open up if anyone else has anything to say about Dead Man Walking besides any reference to the Green Mile, because that was also, conceivably, in your minds at all.
No.
Okay. Lee?
Straight to the point. No, I just, of all these audios, this is the fifth one we've done now. With all the Sapphire and Steel ones, it's just, as you say, the soundscape, the effects, the atmosphere, what they bring across. The atmosphere is so brilliantly well done, and that's all down to, all the people behind the scenes pushing the buttons. Also, say the writing, of course, and down to the actors. Big Finish always get the best actors. They seem to attract them, and I hope they continue with it. Many years to come. I just wish, I've said it before, Sapphire and Steel could resurface at some point. With the licensing, but you never know. Hopefully it will. But they did do quite a few audios for Sapphire and Steel, more than they did on the TV. So there is quite a few to look forward to.
Yeah, that is a really big blessing.
You make a good point about that, because they just picked up Michael Palin.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interested to hear that one.
Well, I mean, John Cleese was in the broadcast TV.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's down to Michael and Terry Gilliam and
Eric
Idle to do any more. So anyway, that's just neither here nor there. But it is really surprising and good news that he's got cast.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to listen
What
to.
he's gonna do. Anyway, are you thinking that maybe that you would like to continue with these?
Well, I was thinking next one we may have to do the Psychic Circus, because we've planned to do the Greatest Show in the Galaxy.
Oh, right. The Seventh Doctor audio. Yes, quite.
So it's seen as a prequel to that one, but I could continue after that.
All right.
This is the end of series 1 of Sapphire and Steel in audio, anyways. Number 5.
Right.
But it's up to you.
I kind of.
That sounds good.
I would like to. Let's see. Let's go on to our final say and score then, since we've come to that point. And Texas, what's your final say and score, please?
Like you said, it's a good listen. They do a very good job with these. I'm gonna give it an 8 this time.
Great. And Lee, what's your final say and score?
Yeah, just because it seems so familiar and similar to the last one, it must be a bit lower than the Lighthouse. So 8.5.
All right, then I'll give it a 7.5 because they were going to kill a kid. That's not that I'll have none of that. No. Anyway, yeah. So, thanks guys for watching this podcast. Thank you fellas for being in the podcast with me. Please like and subscribe and hit the little ding bell to receive notifications that we are actually putting out there like usually three podcasts a week, and we'd like you to keep watching them and share them widely, and come join our Facebook group, and you know, you can come join the Facebook pages that I'm part of, and we would just love to have you. And I'd like to, you know, let you know that we're doing music casts as well right now. It's kind of in the same vein as Audio Heads, but we're actually dissecting and deconstructing whole albums. Last one we did was It's a Kind of Magic, and we're going to move on to what's the next one?
Oh, you got me.
Genesis. It's Genesis, right?
Yeah, Invisible Touch, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Invisible Touch. And so those are really cool things that are coming up for you guys, and I hope that you enjoy them too. And by all means, listen to the music as you're listening to the podcast or watching the podcast. That would be fun. Anyway, from the split zone between here and there, with Sapphire, Steel, and Silver, and Lee and Texas Tim, it's me saying, see you later. Don't be mean to kids.
Oh, no. Ding dong bell. Pussy's in the well.